all the stuff that you need service-wise done around the house. And if you go to kernonline.com, on the back page you will see, and that's available archived online as well, you'll see all kinds of coupons, $20 off furnace repair, 25% off city water filters, $20 off water heater repairs, you name it, they've got it. It's a great place. They do a really good job, and you can feel safe working with them. So give them a call at 734-663-6200 or www.1800fixitnow.com. Okay, so we're talking about National Enquirer story. They broke the story that Ted Cruz has had multiple mistresses over the years, and it's hard to believe. You don't want to believe it because Ted seems to be a kind of a religious guy, and kind of holds the Bible up and is a what religion? A Pentecostal, right, Derek? I think that's what it is. He's a Pentecostal, so he's a Bible thumper guy, I guess, anyways. And kind of plays it up. And I guess that's part of why it's a shocking story because, number one, a politician having a mistress is no big deal anymore. It seems like it's all over the place. Look at Bill Clinton. Look at Kennedy. Come on. A presidential candidate or somebody having a mistress is de rigueur, whatever you call it. It's normal, it seems like, and we look past it quite often. But when somebody holds themselves up above and kind of says, hey, I am a good Christian man, whatever, you don't expect to see that kind of behavior. And you shouldn't, if there is anything to be in there, you would think you would never want to expose yourself to this by running for the office of president to begin with. Or at least not making enemies that would bring this kind of stuff out. But at thedailydrift.com, and this is what we talk about, the news I put at thedailydrift.com, I had one report that talks about the 8 things you need to know about the Ted Cruz sex scandal. And one of them was what I mentioned to Jenny last hour. The National Enquirer has been right on many of these issues. John Edwards, Tiger Woods, Jesse Jackson, and others. These are an issue that will put a company like the National Enquirer out of business. You can't do it. So that in itself kind of makes you go, maybe. A Washington Times reporter also confirmed the story. Drew Johnson. You can see him at Drew_views on Twitter. He's a reporter for the Washington Times. He comes clean in a Twitter that says, what I know, at least 2 of the women named as Cruz mistresses by the National Enquirer are accurate. Okay. Breitbart also had the story, but chose not to run with it. It's all over Twitter. If you're not getting on Twitter, make sure you get on Twitter. Twitter is a great tool for campaigning for your candidate this year. If you spend the next 8 months denying and helping Ted out, maybe you can get past this story and it won't mean anything and he can still win the presidency. I don't know. But get on Twitter. It's good for you. Donald Trump spokeswoman Katrina Pearson is denying that she was one of the mistresses, though when you look at the pictures that the Enquirer put out there, she could very well be one of them, and she had spent time, and there's photos and everything else. It's odd, though, that she now works for Trump. So, again, is there something going on? I don't know. It could be. Maybe Trump is involved. Who knows? And then it goes back to a Texas police report in 2005 where Heidi Cruz was alleged to be a danger to herself. There was an incident with the police, and she was not doing well, and the police came and whatnot. Is this all part of that? And then the final one for me was, why in the world did a Cruz PAC, a pro-Cruz PAC, last summer pay $500,000 to Carly Fiorina's campaign? All right, Google that up yourself. I don't want you or expect you to believe everything I tell you on the show. I mean, I am no expert on doing anything, but you need to look at these things. The FEC is also confused why a Ted Cruz super PAC is donating to Carly Fiorina. This article was out a few months ago. Long before Carly Fiorina was the IT candidate for the month, a super PAC backing Ted Cruz was hedging its bets on her. They gave her $500,000, and that's to the Keep the Promise PAC. They already had $10 million on hand from an $11 million donation from a hedge fund CEO, Robert Mercer. Now, Robert Mercer, billionaire, hedge fund manager, supports Ted Cruz. He also supports Breitbart. And this is, again, I think we talked about this last week. Breitbart has been accused of being pro-Trump, and yet they're owned by a man who supports Cruz. You got to ask yourself, what chess games are being played at the highest levels of our society when people can throw billions of dollars around, buy publications and institutions, and then they start playing them like a chessboard? Trump, Cruz, what is Mercer? What is a guy like Mercer doing, supporting Trump and paying money for big PACs for Trump or for Cruz, and yet buys Breitbart and uses it as a kind of a support tool for Trump? You've got to ask yourself what games are being played. And this is what I talk about when my editorial this month in the April edition of The Current will be out next week. I've written why I'm supporting Trump. And it's not because Donald is a great guy or I expect big things from him. I don't trust anybody in Washington, D.C. I don't trust anybody who's been a politician more than one term. Now, that means maybe Rubio and Cruz were good, but that also means Barack Obama was good? Absolutely not. But people that have held multiple offices multiple times and become these kind of pseudo-career politicians, for me, are suspicious right off the bat. Oh, people will say, look, Donald Trump, he's part of the problem. He's in there. He's already admitting that he's paid people and paid off people and given to both sides and is playing people against one another. Well, of course he is. But ask yourself this. Who's worse? The guy that plays the game and pays those bribes and political donations to either side, or the politicians who have set up this system of political donations? Bribery. Let's just call it what it is. You can call it a political donation if you want. It's bribery. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's a quid pro quo in everything you do in society, and that includes political donations. Ted Cruz is on the hook for a lot of donations from Wall Street, Goldman Sachs included. Yes, his wife worked there. Is it just a loan? I don't know. It could be anything. But he's no more indebted to Wall Street than Hillary Clinton, or Marco Rubio, or a Jeb Bush, a Paul Ryan, a Mitt Romney. That's the way the game is set up, and they've set it up to help themselves. That's why politicians go into Washington, D.C. They may make $170,000 or $220,000 a year. Let me assure you, renting a house and living in Washington, D.C., you're not going to become a millionaire based on that salary. You're just not. So why does congressmen and senators always seem to walk away millionaires? You need to ask yourself that. What is going on in Washington, D.C. that these guys who work a salary can come out being millionaires? They don't have to play by the same rules as we do. Who's giving money to them? Are they making investments with advice? I don't know, but you know in your heart something is rotten and corrupt in Washington, D.C. And a guy like Donald Trump who's participated, who knows clearly what it is, what's his game is what a lot of us are asking. I'm still asking it, even though I'm voting for Trump. I don't think he's a saint. I know that he's got to have something in it for himself. I'm hoping, above all hope, that what he's getting out of it is a better country for his companies to operate in, a better country for his children to grow up and grandchildren to grow up in. Is there more to it? Maybe. I'd say it's a 50-50 chance with me, and that's why I'm going Trump. I know with these other politicians who've been in there long term, who are indebted to Wall Street, indebted to the big PAC donations, 100% certainty that nothing's going to change. Even if Ted Cruz, who if he's everything that he says he is, he's not going to have the power to change anything. Why? He can't work the media. People hate him. Doesn't have that ability. His own party hates him. Now, they hate Trump, too, but Trump's able to cross the line to make up for that by bringing in Reagan Democrats and blue-collar supporters. I've said that before. But there's a 50-50 chance Donald Trump may be the biggest liar on the planet. He may not be able to do any of the things he said he's done. You can listen to Glenn Beck and hear those over and over and over again, all the bad things about Donald Trump. He's demonized Donald Trump worse than he ever demonized Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton. But there's a 50-50 chance, and that's the dice I'm rolling. I'm going to roll those dice with Donald Trump because I believe there's a chance that he is who he says he is and that he's got the ability because he knows how to manipulate the media. He's manipulated them since last June when he announced. The media has given him all the coverage he's wanted, and he's said things and known and done things that you would think would bury any other candidate. But it's not burying Donald Trump. And when a guy like Ben Carson backs him, is it because Ben Carson's getting something? I don't know. If Ben Carson gets a spot on the cabinet of Donald Trump, I certainly wouldn't blame him for it, and I'd be proud of it, because Ben Carson is probably one of the few candidates that I do trust his heart. I would have said Ben Carson was a 100% chance of being the guy who he says he is. Would he have been able to change anything? I don't know. But you can give me a call, 734-822-1600. We're going to roll into a break, and when you come back, we're going to move on and talk a little bit about Hillary Clinton and her campaign. We'll see you on the other side.
Wham Radio has partnered with Club Half to give our listeners a new and easy way to get half off your favorite food and fun activities all over town. Get $50 in gift certificates for only $25. Listen to Wham for the featured business. Then go to whamradio.com anytime and click on the Club Half logo. You'll be on your way to huge savings and fantastic times. Offers are limited, so don't wait to get the whole experience with Club Half. Club Half. Club Half.
This week's Club Half offer is Bands 36. Bands 36 is the new revolution in weight loss. With resistance bands training, you'll quickly lose fat, improve muscle tone, enhance overall health and fitness, and much more at Bands 36. Not sure how to train with resistance bands? No problem. Bands 36 always has a personal trainer at your disposal at no extra cost. Say goodbye to boring workouts and try Bands 36 half off today by visiting whamradio.com and clicking on the Club Half logo.
The Mule Skinner Boot Shop in beautiful downtown Chelsea has moved. Yes, moved, but just across the street and 1 block north to 112 North Main Street. Still in beautiful downtown Chelsea, but with more of everything. More boots, more hats, more belts, and more Western jewelry. More Western boots from Lucchese, Justin, Nocona, and Tony Lama. More work boots from Double H, and a complete line of boots from Corral. Women's boots, too. More hats from Resistol and Stetson. And more custom handmade belts from the Mule himself. And remember, the Mule Skinner carries all your concealment requirements. So come to the new Mule Skinner Boot Shop, still in beautiful downtown Chelsea, still with all your favorite traditional Western wear, but now with an even bigger selection of Western boots from your favorite makers. Now 1 block north at 112 North Main Street. That's Bill Kahn's Mule Skinner Boot Shop, your home for the best selection of the best in traditional Western boots, now in the new store at 112 North Main in beautiful downtown Chelsea. Western hospitality to you, Mule Skinner style.
Behold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal,
that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights,
that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
In April of 2009, the Rattle With Us Tea Party was formed in an effort to take a stand for fiscal responsibility, limited government, and free markets. We firmly believe that our venom is our vote. Visit rattlewithus.com for details on monthly meetings and events.
You know, when you talk about cool radio, only one show springs to mind. It's the Bone Conduction Music Show. I'm Thayrone. I'm inviting you to join me, see what everybody's talking about. It's the finest radio in all the land. It's the wig-singeing rock, hip-shaking soul music, and the industrial strength rhythm and blues. Join me right here for the Bone Conduction Music Show.
Mo taters, Mom.
Join Thayrone for the rockinest show on the radio. It's the Bone Conduction Music Show. Every Sunday night at 7 p.m. right here on Wham! Talk 1600.
You're catching the drift. Gary Wellings and the Drift. On Wham! Talk 1600. Call 734-822-1600 to join in the discussion.
And welcome back. Thank you for tuning in to Catch My Drift. Joining me on line one, Ruby wants to talk about Ted Cruz. Ruby, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. I just wanted to say that I do agree with you about the politicians in Washington. You can't trust them. They tell you one thing and they do something else. But the reason I'm calling is because of the scandal that Ted Cruz has been exposed, and I have no idea if it's true or not. But I just wanted to read you something from God's Word. Jesus went into the Mount of Olives, and early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them. and the scribes and Pharisees, and these are the religious leaders